Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lords of the Night. With me, as always, your Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
And your Lord of Puppies. Say hi, Satsu. I said puppies, pennies. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, that was funny.
Now.
I thought
that was a throwback.
I thought that was intentional for a second. I was like, wow.
No, that was my brain fucking up on me. Your Lord of Pennies. Say hi, Satsu.
Hello, everyone.
At least I had your name right. I had the right person, the wrong moniker. My bad. And I am your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey. How are you guys tonight? How you doing, Satsu?
I am conflicted now.
You'll be fine.
I'm good, man. Chilling.
Somebody tell SDA I'm thinking about her. Scribbles, how you doing?
As compared to yesterday and the days previous, I'm great. I worked on a video and played Vampire for most of the day and watched bad TV shows and then other things. We'll get to that later, though. So tomorrow will be a different story, but I'll take what I can take for now.
Real quick,
how are you, Monkey?
Better, Scribe?
Sorry, what?
I said real quick, has it gotten any better for you?
Has what gotten any better?
Vampire.
Oh, yeah. I mean, once you accept that it's not as much of a action game as it is a sort of a detective game. I mean, it's sort of like a glorified adventure game more than it is anything else.
Gotcha.
I mean, they introduced difficulty levels where you can turn it up to the point where some of the battles play out like Dark Souls kind of shit. So like they're really fucking tough. But if you just play it on normal and you get into sort of the setting and you get into the lore, that's the part that really got me more hooked than anything else. Is once they started getting into the lore of the world and everything, that got me interested. So it has got progressively better. It still has the combat system's janky as hell, and it still has its downturns in trying to keep track of everything, but it's good. How are you, Monkey?
Well, I officially have an ear infection now. Went to the doctor today and got my medicine, so it'll be clearing up in the next few days. But woke up this morning and it had overpowered even my nerve blockers. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I got to go in. So did that, and then I slept most of the rest of the day. But we have a birthday.
You got a super chat first.
Thank you, Cryptic. The NFL doesn't allow their players to own pet ducks. It's considered a personal foul. Thank you, sir.
That should have been FOWL, Cryptic. Just because I'm a nitpicker.
Okay.
That's true. Foul for birds is FOWL. That makes the joke. Never mind.
You know what, Cryptic? You write it any way you want to.
No, incorrect.
Anyhow,
Scribe dictate your life.
That's right.
We have a very special request here, and it comes from Stunlock. Stunlock gave me a beautiful present in Red Dead 2.
Oh.
Among my favorite games ever. So, Scribe, would you be willing to beatbox for this?
Excuse me?
You'd like to know. The specific request is, tomorrow's my birthday and we need to torture Satsu because of it. Now, much like last year, can Scribe beatbox while you sing incredibly offbeat? Tell Satsu I love him regardless.
Oh my God, really? Why?
I guess I can do that. Cryptic has a retort.
Thank you, Cryptic, who says, eat shit, Scribe.
Yeah, but he used the accent mark, so I don't even know how that's supposed to be pronounced. Sheesh.
Are you critiquing his critique?
That's right. Goddamn right. That's all I do on this show is critique other people's critiques of things. So, you know.
And Stunlock says you did it last year. So.
Well, tradition being tradition, I guess I have to do it again.
All right. Stunlock, seriously, dude, I love you, sir. And I hope your birthday tomorrow is wonderful. We're not on tomorrow, guys. So we sing tonight when it's tomorrow. This one's for you, sir. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you.
Ridiculous.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh God, kill me now.
Happy birthday dear son of Joe.
You should have just let me do it.
A happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, sir. I hope you have a great day. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir.
That hurt. That physically hurt me. Why are y'all constantly trying to decrease my lifespan? I don't need an answer. I know why. It's fine. You don't have to verbalize it. I just felt I'd ask.
Do we have anything else to talk about before we get into news?
Well,
You
I
guys streaming
definitely don't want to talk about what just happened. So,
Yeah. You guys doing a stream after this?
I'm playing Resident Evils. I think I'm almost done with the first initial storyline. Monkey, what I think I planned on doing is after I finish with Leon's initial story, I think I'm gonna do Claire's as a. I might just stream that at a different time of day and just play it, like fuck everything else, and we'll continue our 7 Days to Die adventures. So yeah.
Alrighty. Is there news, Scribbles?
Yes.
Muggy Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button and don't forget to share. Go ahead now.
Well, per the title of the stream, I have first up, Bernie Sanders is set to announce a 2020 presidential run.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Can't wait to see Bernie go against Booker.
No Hillary to fuck him up the ass now, though. So
Yeah, we don't know yet. She might still announce, you never know.
For me, it's going to be Bernie trying to out socialist Warren.
Oh,
and with her tweet she came out with today.
Oh, I saw that.
Fun.
That was funny. 3 years after fighting a surprisingly competitive Democratic primary race against Hillary Clinton. Is it really surprising given that the deck was stacked against him by the DNC? Is it really that surprising?
The only thing surprising about it is that because of how the deck was stacked against him, he got a lot more press than he did and was more important than he should have been.
Yeah, it's almost like the Streisand effect or something.
Exactly.
They would have known about at the DNC. Let's see, we start over again. 3 years after fighting a surprisingly competitive Democratic primary race against Hillary Clinton, Senator Bernie Sanders, the Vermont Independent, is making another run for the White House. I think independent needed to be capitalized there because it's technically a political wedge to live in. Anyway,
Real quick. Thank you, Cryptic. Downloaded the music to Titanic. It's syncing. Go ahead, sir. I feel like he earned an interruption after your foul.
Oh, it was his foul.
After you crying foul.
Two sources with direct knowledge of his plans told Yahoo News, because I'm not reading from CNN this time. Amazingly enough, I'm using Yahoo News. Told Yahoo News that Sanders, an independent and self-described democratic socialist, plans to announce his presidential bid imminently. While Sanders has been considering a bid for months, one of the sources said he was emboldened by early polls of the race that have consistently showed him as one of the top candidates in a crowded Democratic primary field. In particular, the source said Sanders was heartened to see numbers indicating he is one of the leading candidates among African American and Latino voters, two groups he was demographics. Not groups, demographics. I hate that. Two groups he was perceived as struggling with in 2016. Yeah, especially when like the Black Lives Matter ladies like kicked him off his own podium.
Yeah.
Well,
which is
keep
hilarious.
going. I'm sorry.
The source also alluded to a spate of recent polls that show Sanders as the most popular politician in the country. What? They attributed Sanders' strength in the polls to the base and name recognition he built with the prior presidential bid. Quote, what the senator has this time that he didn't have last time is he is the most popular elected official in the country right now. If that's true, that is a sad, sad statement. That's light years away from 2016 when very few people knew who he was.
That's the thing. It's all name recognition.
Mm-hmm.
At this point of the game, that's all it is. And he has it. He got a lot of publicity last time. So I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's the most popular. I mean, he's not Trump. He's not Hillary.
Yeah.
He's not Pocahontas. So, I mean, that's it's like being the best STD though, dude.
Yeah. Let's see.
It's not AIDS.
Right. I mean, it's only chlamydia.
Although Sanders was ultimately defeated by Clinton last time around, his upstart campaign reshaped the Democratic Party. No, it didn't.
They go on there. Hang on, let me get this real quick. Cryptic, thank you. What is a nuclear scientist's favorite food? Fission chips.
Sanders ran on a progressive platform that included a focus on eliminating income inequality, on campaign finance reform, and an ambitious Medicare for all healthcare proposal. Those principles have become centerpieces for the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, and several Sanders-backed candidates won elections last year. Yeah, but they're the exception. Nancy and Chuck and all those other guys still control everything, and they're, yeah. But Sanders' impact on the Democratic Party went beyond his political vision. The primary battle between Sanders and Clinton was contentious, with Sanders' allies contending that Clinton's campaign was working in conjunction with the Democratic Party establishment to prevent a Sanders victory. It wasn't a contention; it was true.
I have one more super chat. Thank you, P Dog Knight. Stop saying Pocahontas. It's Pocahontas. I've been calling her that since I first heard it, the Pocahontas thing. Sorry, dude.
Anyway, this goes on for quite a while. But anyway, so Bernie's going to run again. Ta-da.
Real quick about the reshaping the Democratic Party. There were rule changes in the DNC because of 2016 with the super delegates. I can't remember if they got rid of them completely, but they made them a lot less important.
Well, that doesn't change the character of the DNC or the Democratic Party.
They also changed it so you actually have to be a Democrat to run in their primary.
So that prevents him from even participating since he's an independent?
Except it doesn't, because the Vermont DNC voted to make him officially a Democrat. He didn't do it.
Because circumvent their own rules just to make things fit for themselves. That's great.
Yes. So they are right that he changed that because of him. Things changed a little bit, but I think they might have overstated that a little bit.
Yeah, it's a change by degrees. Like you said, it's sort of like being the most popular STD.
Right.
In other news, we have some pondering by Brian Stetler, the creepiest looking man at CNN.
Oh, he's that little fat fuck, isn't he, with the bald head?
Yeah, he's got the weird, really creepy smile.
Yeah, he's got pedo head. Go ahead.
Is that a brand of shampoo?
It is.
I've seen bedhead around. I haven't heard pedo head before.
He shampoos with pedo head.
So here's the headline. Right-wing media split over Trump's shutdown decision. Did he cave, or was it a masterstroke? I don't know. Some of President Trump's typical media boosters are savagely criticizing his decision to surrender after a 5-week-long partial shutdown of the government. Ann Coulter called him the biggest wimp. Ann Coulter called him the biggest wimp. Lou Dobbs said he got rolled by Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. Quote, "She has just whipped the President of the United States," Dobbs said Friday night. But there is a divide in right-wing media between disappointed commentators like Dobbs and true believers who are assuring listeners that Trump is going to win funding for a border wall in the end. Quote, "This is for 3 weeks," Trump advisor turned Fox analyst Sebastian Gorka told Dobbs. "As far as I'm concerned, this is a masterstroke." Okay, how?
I think it probably will be a masterstroke because this puts it firmly on the Democrats now, where he was taking the abuse all himself.
It depends on how often he gets out there vocally and says, well, it's day one of the reprieve, and I still haven't heard anything from Democrats. If he did that every day, did like a brief little press room update, came out and said, well, today's the day. I'm sitting here waiting for the Democrats to come negotiate with me as they promised they'd do once the shutdown ended. No one's approached me. I'm going back to my office. So, Nancy, Chuck, I'll be there waiting for you. And if he does that every day, if he does that every day over the course of the next 3 weeks, yeah, maybe. But if he doesn't do anything like that, then if he just tweets, it's not going to work. He'd have to do something as dramatic as like do a appearance or something. Let's see. Talking heads like Gorka are already forecasting another government shutdown when the temporary bill expires on February 15th. The timeline has given some members of the pro-Trump media a reason to reserve judgment and urge patience, a way to say the funding war is far from over. Quote, if the president goes for amnesty, I'm out. I will be a critic. Mark Levin said on the radio Friday evening, but if the president is fighting to secure the wall, I'm prepared to wait 3 weeks and see what happens. Well, Mark Levin, I hate to tell you this, you're going to have to wait 3 weeks anyway. And nothing that you say or do is going to have an effect on this. Nobody cares.
Johnny Hellcat, thank you. Masterstroke doesn't sound healthy.
It might be a golfing term. Earlier in the day, Rush Limbaugh ended his show with almost a shrug. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I strangely enough, the last thing I'd ever thought I'd say, I'm with Rush on that point, at least.
He's right, yeah.
Others were less forgiving. Coulter, speaking to a mostly liberal audience on HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher, said that if they want to get Trump, focus on the wall. Quote, he promised something for 18 months and he lied about it. That's how you get Trump. It's not the Russia nonsense. What? Lied? What?
She's saying that he never intended to get the wall.
Oh. Is that the angle they're taking now? Is that it was a lie, not
that
people are actively obstructing it?
It's Ann Coulter. She's not to be taken seriously.
Breitbart.com highlighted those comments and several other critiques on Saturday. One of the site's headlines was a play on Where's Waldo, asking, Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? D-O-E.
Where's the Waldo?
Ha 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 ha. The Drudge Report featured a photo of Trump with a banner that called him walled in. Okay, so now Brian Stetler's just reviewing other websites' headlines. Great, that's real blazing copy there, Brian. Anyway.
Oh my God. Over on Streamlabs. Thank you, Cryptic. I broke my finger. On the other hand, I'm okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the donation. I fucking love his jokes.
So yeah, is it four-dimensional chess, or is it just Trump caved into the pressure, or is it a combination of two? I don't know.
I think he was getting more blowback than he thought anyway, and his advisors went, "Look, if we fund the government, because we talked about this yesterday, the Democrats never said they would sit down to discuss the wall.
Yep.
They were very careful to say they would never say the wall. They said border security.
Border security. Yep."
But if he can put this back on them over the next 3 weeks, say, look, they said they would come in good faith, and then they didn't, he might get the narrative back. We'll see.
You know what he should you know what he should do? He should go out in the Rose Garden and set up a table, just like a folding table, and just sit there in a folding chair with a sign on the edge of the table that says, I'm going to shut down the government again in 3 weeks. Change my mind.
What he should do is get Steven Crowder's table from his video just yesterday that actually said, build the wall, change my mind, and it's set up right outside of Congress.
Yeah, just borrow it. Like, can I get that?
Yeah, it's just, the only way he makes any hay out of this is if he really hammers it home day after day after. If he does like a fireside chat kind of thing like FDR. It's like today's Monday, January 28th. First day since we've come back from the shutdown ending for a 3-week reprieve. And the entire day has passed, and I haven't heard a thing from the Democrats when they said that they would negotiate on border security after the shutdown ended. So I'm still here waiting, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And that's it. Just do like a little 5-minute thing until they get something.
Yeah, if he plays this right, yeah, he comes out the winner. If he just kind of hopes it goes away, or he doesn't push it at all, and he goes into 2020 with the wall, this being the last we heard about the wall, yeah, he's fucked.
Yeah. Let's see. In other news, how about some Venezuela news?
Sure, why not?
Well, guess what the, I guess, semi-president of Venezuela tried to do? And I mean, not the one that we're apparently backing, but the evil one.
Murado or whatever his name is.
Maduro.
Maduro.
Yes.
What did he do?
Well, he attempted to withdraw from the Bank of England $1.2 billion in gold. The Bank of England blocked that withdrawal.
Really?
The Bank of England has blocked Nicolas Maduro's officials from withdrawing $1.2 billion worth of gold, Bloomberg reported, dealing a further blow to the embattled Venezuelan president as he tries to salvage his authority. According to the report, which cites unnamed people familiar with the matter, I really need to get those business cards made. The gold is a significant part of the $8 billion in foreign reserves held by the Venezuelan central bank. CNN has not been able to independently verify the report and is attempting to get a response from Maduro's officials. Oh, is this like a BuzzFeed thing again? Great. The move by the big... Huh?
I just read a story about what's wrong with news today. And it was this literal thing. Here's a rumor we heard. We're going to report on it. We can't verify it, but here's what's happening if it's true.
Right.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, that's what I was complaining about the other day with Chris Saliza when he did a whole article about the BuzzFeed report burying the notion that we haven't been able to corroborate this, but it's like you're no different than a gossip column at that point. You really aren't. You know. Okay.
Oh, thank you, Cryptic. Tennis players don't score; they make love instead. It's gonna be a fun night.
Where's my fork?
You behave.
The move by the Bank of England came after top U.S. officials urged the British government to help cut off Maduro's access to his country's assets, the report said, and instead steer them towards opposition leader Juan Guaido, whatever you say. Wait. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second. Are we at all happy with how much of a hand we're having in Venezuela's destiny right now?
I'm really not.
I mean, if you want to block a withdrawal of billions of dollars by a questionable leader of a country while it's in dispute, sure, I guess you could make an argument for that. But if you're then going to say, no, give it to the guy we like, a separate, different, independent, sovereign nation that is trying to direct the destiny of a whole country, no. I don't like that at all. But anyway. On Saturday, the UK joined the US and a host of other countries by saying it would recognize Guaido as the country's interim president if new elections were not called within the next 8 days. Quote, we stand shoulder to shoulder with the United States in saying that the National Assembly and its president, Juan Guaido, however you say his name, are best placed to lead Venezuela in the restoration of its democracy. So, in the absence of elections, we're willing to back a guy to restore democracy.
Yeah.
Well, that actually makes more sense than it might sound like. Because Maduro,
I get what they're saying and why they want to do it, because the dude there is apparently a tyrant, and hasn't he been fucking? Is he the one I'm thinking of that's been taking out any opposition, and that's the reason why he's been in his position for so long? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, he's basically made it so nobody can oppose him.
Right.
He basically killed democracy in his country. That's why, as Prospero's pointed out a few times, they've kind of forced the only way for change there to be through a coup.
And that's what I was thinking when I had first heard about it. I was like, I mean, if he has literally made it to where it doesn't matter how many elections they have, he can't lose, then democracy's already fucked. So how do you get it back other than assassination or a coup?
I don't know. I'm not as huge a fan of this kind of massive intervention.
Yeah, I don't like the optics. I still don't like the optics, but I
understand. There are a lot of moving parts to this whole thing, but I'm having flashbacks to things like installing the Shah of Iran or any other number of situations where we've sort of like put in somebody we like. What if this guy turns into the next dictator? You know, what if he just takes over where Maduro left off and gives a big, lip service? The elections go his way because he's the guy with the biggest name recognition. And, 5-6 years from now, we're dealing with him.
I mean, that's not off the table, considering the fact that he wouldn't have gotten in officially, like in an official matter with a election and all that shit. He could just be like, I wasn't technically elected to be a leader. Y'all picked me to be the leader, so I can do whatever I want.
Well, I'd have more confidence if the guy came out and said, I will not run for re-election once elections take place. If he said that, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that's not going to happen. So
yeah.
Anyway, so that's what's going on right now. I mean, I understand they're trying maybe to avoid a civil war in that country. I don't know if they can, all things considered, at this stage of the game, if it's not already basically that in some ways. So, yes.
I kind of agree with what Chadwick says there. He says, as long as we just support them and don't get involved, I don't see a problem. If all we've done is said, look, we recognize whatever his name is. I've been calling him Guido. As long as we recognize he's the rightful leader, fine. And that's as far as we go. Cool.
Lip service is fine. Directing money.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's the part that I was like, hey, don't give it to that guy. Give it to this other guy who isn't officially president any more than we consider this other guy. Like, how about you wait until there's an actual leader in place who's actually the chosen of the people before you start giving billions of dollars over to just the guy you currently like? I don't know. That part I don't really like that much.
Yeah, leave them to their own devices. If he's successful, fine. If he's not, whatever. But yeah, don't interfere.
Otherwise, make Venezuela the 51st state and just get it over with.
I say we take over Venezuela, give it to the Hondurans so they have somewhere better to go. And leave it at that. Well, it's better than Honduras right now.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously, they're trying to get away, right? If we make it better, put up a couple of Trump towers, get in some tourism going.
Are you waiting for him to talk again so you can interrupt him, Monkey?
I'm trying to sell the deal. This is the art of the deal. No?
Okay.
Go ahead, Scribe. I'm sorry. I didn't interrupt you at all last night.
Oh my God.
I'm done.
He didn't even get a word out that time. That doesn't count. Does not count. Does not count.
Oh my God.
Well, shit. I don't know if he had another story or not as he's doing his fake crime.
That was a 4-hit interruption combo, sir.
No, there was only one.
No. I count it.
Over on Streamlabs, thank you, Cryptic. Oh God, where's my doobly doo? Thank you, Cryptic. He says, on a serious note, their constitution allows for the head of the National Assembly to declare the president of Venezuela as illegitimate and run it until an election. It is within their law. And if that's what their constitution says, then yes, what we do is we recognize Guido as the rightful ruler of it right now, but we stay the fuck out otherwise.
Yeah. Let them determine their own fate and not make it just I mean, even if by reality standards, let's say, the Guido, for lack of a better phrase, isn't actually a puppet of the U.S. and these other allies of ours. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's the appearance of impropriety. It's the appearance of illegitimacy. If we take too much of a hand in it, all we're doing is undercutting the authority of this guy or anybody else that comes out that then we then say we back. Because how do they know we're not doing other things behind the scenes against the democracy the people are supposedly trying to recreate? You know, the only way you get a legitimate, or at least a legitimate appearing government out of the situation is if they do it themselves without their hands being held. It's a whole moral hazard thing. If you keep bailing people out when they're in trouble, they never, make it to their point where they can take care of themselves or be seen as anybody else as being able to take care of themselves.
Indeed.
Did you have any more news stories?
I don't know. Do I?
I don't know.
I tried like 5
I don't-
times to start, but you
Well,
got
then that would
things-
be a yes.
Yeah, that would be a yes. So can I speak it before you interrupt me again?
We'll have to see.
I don't like these odds.
I love you guys, man. I do.
Melania Trump gets substantial damages and an apology for a story in a British magazine. And now my mouse isn't working for reasons unknown. Okay, well, that's going to make life difficult.
Are you punishing it?
No, it just isn't working. Hold on.
Sounds like you were slapping it around.
Well, I'm trying to get it to... I'm going to have to unplug it and plug it back in, I guess. I can't actually do anything. This sucks. Technical difficulties, guys. It's the adventures of live TV.
And this time, it's not my fault.
I'm not so sure about that. I have a sneaking suspicion it is your fault. Okay. A British magazine has issued an apology to First Lady Melania Trump for an article it published last week, which included several inaccuracies about her life and her family. Titled The Mystery of Melania, the story was written by American author Nina Burleigh, 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 for the magazine Burleigh, for the magazine section of the Telegraph newspaper, and included portions that prompted Trump to demand the record be corrected. Quote, "We apologize unreservedly to the First Lady and her family for any embarrassment caused by our publication of these allegations," said part of the written apology issued by the Telegraph. The publication added it had agreed to pay Trump, quote, "substantial damages as well as her legal costs." Trump sought correction to the story via her attorney, a source familiar with the matter tells CNN. Yeah, she got $2.9 million.
Damn. Real quick, Chicago Mike, Scribe's mouse interrupting him. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Fuck me. I'm done. Fine.
I was saying, and I started before you did there.
He did. That time.
Oh, okay. Well, so that one time exonerates all the 17 times. Okay. All right. Fine.
Just let it happen. No, I put a link to
rape joke. Wrong.
No,
wrong,
that's
wrong.
a monkey in the morning joke. I put a link to this actual story so you can read their apology. It is one of the saddest things I've read in a long, long time. But it's in the chat there for you guys if you want to take a look.
And I misspoke. The $2.9 million thing was from the Daily Mail in 2017. So whatever the damages were in this one, they have, so far as I know, at least in this story, they haven't actually said what the payout was for this.
Yeah. Did you read the actual apology, Scribe?
Yes.
It's just 2 paragraphs of, and these are long paragraphs of, we said this and we were wrong. We said this and we were wrong. Like, what was right about your fucking article?
Yeah, that was the thing. I never read the first one or the original. I'm sure it's archived out there somewhere, but it sounds like all the little bits and pieces there would make up, like any 2 of those things in that list of stuff they're apologizing for would have been enough to make up any story on Melania Trump by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like 4 or 5 in there that they're like, yeah, this didn't happen. And no, she didn't need Trump's money to be successful. She was successful before she met Trump and this, that, and it's like, where's the editor?
Yeah.
Where's the fact checker? Where's any kind of journalistic process? I mean, you look at what CNN's doing with reposting BuzzFeed shit and saying, well, this isn't corroborated, but, and then you got, now, granted, the Telegraph isn't exactly the highest echelons of journalistic integrity to begin with. All the same, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. When I read through this, I was like, wow. Because let's see, they say she dropped out of school. They say her dad was a horrible man. That her modeling career sucked until she met Trump, and they just go through all of this and like, no, wrong. Yeah, it was bad. I can't believe something like that. To get that many things wrong and have to apologize for all of them. How did where was your editor? How the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, that means somebody saw it, acknowledged that it was a total hit piece, and was just like, yeah, that's cool. They won't get upset about this.
Yeah. Do you have anything else there, Scribbles?
Nope.
All right, guys, that brings us to hashtag MSS News over on the Twitter machine. If there's a story you want us to look at, hit us up at the hashtag MSS News, and we will do our best to take a look. By the way, guys, all you got to do, hashtag MSS News, you don't have to tag each of us. It goes into a tag that we look at every night.
Yes.
But we can't get to them all because Scribe's mouse is an ass.
I wish I'd be grabbing ass all night.
You are.
My own. Anyway, Froggy sends us this one. Oh, this looks like a treasure. Woman's OCD about sex has her seeing vaginas everywhere.
Oh God.
So if she sees like if she looks around and she sees vaginas everywhere, and she's actually imagining people talking as just like giant vaginas, is she constantly seeing the vagina monologues?
Is she sure she's not just watching CNN?
No. With her flowing blonde hair and sweet smile, Rose Cartwright looks as if she's thinking calm thoughts, but she's actually imagining naked bodies. Well, welcome to the wonderful world of being 13 and a boy. She's crippled by mental illness called purely obsessional OCD, a form of OCD characterized by repetitive thoughts. Hers just happens to be about sex. I think I have this disease. Cartwright, an author, was just 15 when she had her first attack of pure OCD, with a mental image of a naked child entering her head as she ate dinner with her family.
Whoa, back up.
That I don't have.
Real quick, Diesel Dave, thank you. I guess they don't fact check as about the last story. Yeah, obviously not. She's picturing kids naked?
Well, when she was 15. I don't know. Let's see. After that, the condition became so extreme she spent years fearing she was a pedophile, kept imagining everyone around her to be naked, and even saw vaginas in the background of TV shows. Cartwright, well, was she watching, Playboy? Cartwright was helped by a form of therapy that meant she had to watch porn 3 times a day, and released a memoir titled Pure, which has been adapted for TV on the UK's Channel 4.
I'm calling bullshit.
What kind of TV show is that going to look like? After her first attack, the more Cartwright kept trying to stop thinking about the image of the naked child, the more she saw it. Yeah. Quote, I mouthed the words slowly to the dark. What if I'm a pedophile? And with that question, I was sucked inside my head. In a bid to purge her anxiety, she began to look back over every, quote, pretend kiss and cuddle I'd had at sleepovers when my friends and I had reenacted neighbors' weddings, pressing our faces together and giggling at the kiss the bride bit. Or when we'd renamed Barbie and Ken as Fanny and Dick and made them make babies in a shoebox. These...
You have to remind these people that in England, Fanny is not a butt.
Yes.
It is a vagina.
All these filthy sparkles of a child's imagination were twisted into something threatening because they seemed to support my obsessive fears about my capacity for depravity, unquote. Okay. Okay. What? All right. The World Health Organization says that OCD is one of the top 10 most debilitating mental health conditions in terms of the effect on quality of life. Pure OCD is called this because the compulsions are usually invisible and not acted out in the better known ways such as hand washing and counting out loud, and it's thought that due to the secretive nature of it, many people suffer in silence. The thoughts aren't always sexual and can also include repetitive thinking about taboo subjects such as murder. Oh, well, that doesn't apply to me at all. It's unknown as to what causes it. Quote, pretty much everything about it is secretive, Cartwright said. These are things that you're not even supposed to think about, let alone talk about. How would a teenage boy tell his parents that he thought about having sex with his sister 1,000 times a day? Well, that's called Mississippi.
What the fuck?
Oh, whoops. Anyway, I'm not quite this is one of those things where it's very difficult to tell whether this is someone who is saying something that's true or is making it up, or if it's been identified in other people, then she's been having it treated since she was like a teenager. it might be hell. I mean, I know people that actually suffer from, diagnosed mental illness, and it's an absolute living hell. So she might be in it, but that's a weird one to have.
I don't buy it.
You think it's an act?
I think it's an act to sell books.
Let's see. This one comes from Massive Dynamics.
I'm sorry. I was just told to check my Streamlabs. Thank you, Cryptic. I got mugged by 6 dwarves last night. Not happy. Come on, that was a good one. I liked it.
I'm not
oh, God, this is tragic, but also morbidly hilarious. A mother almost crushed to death by an obese woman on a water slide.
Yep.
A woman was left fighting for her life when a fellow tourist crashed into her on a water slide, splitting her liver and crushing her internal organs.
Holy fuck.
The obese woman crashed into Gemma Jocelyn, 32, at a hotel's water park in Turkey. She suffered from internal bleeding and severe kidney damage that required life-saving surgery and was in hospital for 8 days before returning to her home in East Sussex. And then they have a picture of her surgery scars. Jesus. Gemma, who was on her first holiday in 4 years, now plans on suing Thomas Cook, claiming there were no safety precautions in place at the hotel. Quote, I'd only been in Turkey for about 14 hours when we decided to go to the water park. There was no staff to direct anyone on the slides, but I told my 2 young children to wait 10 seconds between each other so they could get out of the way. My daughter was supposed to follow me down afterwards, but instead a overweight woman came down the slide just moments after me. I had reached the bottom of the slide, but all I saw was these 2 feet coming towards me. I knew there was no way I could move in time. I was thrown backwards in the water, and my eyes were rolling back into my head. I was coming in and out of consciousness as the pain was so severe. Yeah. If I was at a water park and there were no staff around, I would not use that water park.
I would, but when you get to the bottom, get out of the way. They tell you to do that even if there is staff there. When you get to the bottom, move out of the way of the slide.
Yeah, but I mean, if the lady came down like just behind her and she didn't know it was coming.
If she saw those feet, she had turned around and she got kicked in the stomach. So she was standing in front of it. Now, I'm not saying the fat bitch shouldn't have waited or anything, but bitch, you were standing there waiting for your kid. You should have stood out of the way. Sorry.
Let's see. This one comes from Frosted Glass, and it's got a picture of AOC on it. Oh, I remember this lady's name. Oh, and this is her subcolumn, The Week in Patriarchy. The headline is, Women Swear Sometimes. Let's get the hell over it. Are you talking about the one that said, we're going to impeach the motherfucker?
Probably.
The Curse of Linguistic Double Standards. Okay. I'm going to let you in on a shocking secret. Sometimes women swear. The end. That's the end of the article because really there's nothing else.
This is the chick who was just last week was feeling solidarity with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because they're both picked on because they're black.
Yeah. Here's another revelation. There is generally nothing newsworthy about a woman swearing. The operative word there is generally, except when you're talking about elected officials, talking about other elected officials, then it's newsworthy.
Yeah, Scribe, context. You're bringing context into it, and you know that's the rules.
I am eager to emphasize this because you could be forgiven for thinking otherwise. Quote, prominent woman says curse word is a highly popular, highly sexist new genre. But what about when Trump called certain countries shitholes? Or was accused of it. Just look at the recent headlines about the Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. On Monday night, Ocasio-Cortez appeared on The Late Show. Stephen Colbert, the host, asked the politician about the pushback she was getting from some other Democrats. Quote, on a scale from 0 to some, how many fucks do you give? Ocasio-Cortez replied, "I think it's zero." This led to a flurry of headlines stating AOC gives zero fucks about pushback, which deceptively made it look like yeah, she didn't say it though.
Yeah, so
this is a non-issue. Okay, I'm done reading this article. Fake news. Let's see. Oh, so this is Rambler sends us this one. It's the tweet that you were talking about earlier, Monkey, from Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
The billionaire NFL owner just paid $100 million for a super yacht with its own IMAX theater. I'm pretty sure he can pay my new #ultramillionaire tax to help the millions of yachtless Americans struggling with student loan debt. Yeah, he could. Or they could pay the loans that they agreed to take out on their student stuffs.
Yes, he absolutely could afford to pay whatever tax she deems necessary, but he doesn't. He shouldn't have to just because he's a fucking billionaire, you twat. And I do wonder how much of this and the NFL owner in question is Daniel Snyder, who owns the Redskins.
Oh, yes.
I feel like part of it is political payback.
You think?
She's hitting at him because of the whole Indian thing. I don't think she actually cares about his boat.
Let's see. What's this? This one comes from Emperor W.R. Costin. Cleanup in aisle 3. No one hurt as vehicle drives through Nova Scotia grocery store. Yep, wow. It got all the way to the back of the store by the picture. Here, I'll put the link in the chat so people can see this.
Can I just say it's amazing how many times we see these stories about these cars going into buildings and no one's hurt?
Yeah.
I think it's awesome that it happens that way, but gee, this guy went all the way to the fucking back.
The owner of a grocery store in Saulnerville, maybe I'm saying that right, Nova Scotia, said it was a close call, but no one was injured when a vehicle drove through 2 sets of front doors, through the condiments aisle, and into the coolers at the back of the store on Friday afternoon. Quote, people had to get out of the way. They would have been hurt. Yeah. Aline Comu, who runs Foodland in the small French Shore community, said the vehicle initially stopped outside the front doors in a pedestrian area where no parking is allowed. It then crashed through the front doors and stopped inside before continuing onto the back of the store. Quote, I think he just pressed on the gas instead of the brake, Comu said. The elderly male driver and a female passenger were taken to hospital, but they were later released. Paramedics also tended to others in the store who were upset and crying. So it sounds like old man made a mistake and plowed into a store. But nobody was hurt, so good.
Old man did an oopsie.
I want to know how old. I'm surprised they didn't put that number in here.
This says elderly.
I know.
Let's see. This one comes from Sethakar GSX. Sethakar. Sounds like a Final Fantasy character.
In chat, Isabella says that her cousin was working at the store that day.
Oh. Well, I'm glad your cousin's all right.
The man claims he had his foot on the brake. Yeah, because he is old and crazy. You don't know.
Let's see. Law students head to southern U.S. border to help asylum seekers. Okay. Kiki Tapero, if I'm saying that correctly, a second-year law student at the University of California, Berkeley School of Law, is somber thinking about the moment she returned to the U.S. after spending a week of her winter break in Tijuana, Mexico. She and some of her classmates walked through a pedestrian footbridge, waited in line, talked with U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents, and made their way to the U.S. side. The process took a little more than 10 minutes. Just a few hours before, in Mexico, they had been talking with Central American migrants who had traveled thousands of miles on foot to Tijuana and had been waiting for months near the border, hoping to cross the U.S. You know why that is? Because you're citizens. You are citizens and they are not. That's why it took you 10 minutes and they've been waiting for months. Quote, there's a really big sense of privilege that I feel in being able to cross the border so easily, she says. Yes, they're called citizen privileges. The privileges of being a citizen.
It's called your visa, you stupid bitch.
You're a
Your
law
passport.
student? You're a law student, and this makes you feel like it's a privilege. Well, it is
my privilege to go back to my own country.
Yeah.
What a fucking idiot.
Tapero was one of 10 students from Berkeley Law who went on to the
Berkeley.
There
you go.
Who went to the border town as a volunteer with the organization Al Otro Lado, a group providing legal services to migrants seeking asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border. Let's see. Okay. Tapero and other students in this story say they are not speaking for the group, but are reflecting on their own experiences. All right. Tapero, who is in Tijuana December 28th through January 4th, says her days were packed. In the morning, she and other volunteers went to a port of entry where people wait to be processed for asylum. They talked with the migrants about what to expect and also observed the process, documenting how many people were on a waiting list and making sure that no one was being turned away. Under U.S. immigration laws, people have the right to turn themselves in to Border Patrol agents and ask for asylum. This goes on for several pages chronicling their adventures down there, but I think the opening pretty much says it all about their attitudes about the whole situation. It's like, I just felt this kind of privilege. Like, yeah, well, you're a law student again? Do you read the Constitution much?
Yeah.
Real quick. Oh, I'm sorry. I have 2 super chats. Let me get those real quick. Thank you. So, James Colley. So, female Apu is female splaining, and then he says, sorry, I was lagging.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for both of those.
I'm just picturing somebody's like, yeah, I went to my job the other day and you need security clearance to get in. And they let me in, no problem. But there was a bum like sitting outside of it and he couldn't get in. And I felt this privilege. It's just like, yeah, you work there. That's your job. He doesn't, you silly bitch.
Let's do one more before because I'm starting to wear down a bit on the, this one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. I meant to bring this up the other day, but it kept getting pushed aside. And there's no headline.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
James Colley, thank you so much for Barbie Dream Fund. By the way, guys, the Dream Fund has been fully funded, and we're now actually on to helping populate the house.
Yay! Well, yeah. Skipper, you need Skipper.
Well, they have all of the Disney princesses as Barbies, and she loves the Disney princesses. So what we're probably going to do is get her a whole set of those to go play in her house.
Nice. So do you remember the woman who was like in a coma and then suddenly had a child?
Oh, God, yes.
All right. The defense attorney for the nurse accused of sexually assaulting an incapacitated woman who gave birth in an Arizona long-term care facility last month says there is, quote, no direct evidence his client is to blame.
What?
What about a paternity test? In court on Wednesday, attorney David Gregan, told the judge that Nathan Sutherland, the licensed practical nurse fired by Hacienda Healthcare in Phoenix after his arrest, had no criminal record and deserved a low bond amount that would let him be set free from jail while the investigation proceeds. Sutherland, 36, was arrested Tuesday after providing a court-ordered DNA sample that matched with the boy born December 29th to a 29-year-old woman who has been in a vegetative state for more than 2 decades. Quote, there's no direct evidence that Mr. Sutherland has committed these acts, Gregan said. I know at this point there's DNA, but he will have a right to his own DNA expert. That is true. That is true, but DNA is direct evidence.
Oh, wow. Thank you, James Colley. Super Bowl money, too. And thank you, Chicago Mike. Start the Barbie Corvette Fund. And again, thank you, James Colley. Is Scribe getting upset with me interrupting yet?
Upset? Well, let's see. Either I'm upset or I've seen that people get entertained by my sounding upset.
He's upset.
Shut up. And since this is a show where we're here to entertain you, I might, depending on the circumstances, either be actually upset or just being melodramatic. There was actually somebody commented on last night's stream. Mm-hmm. I'm not making fun of this person at all, but he was saying like, geez, Scribe, why you sound so paranoid about Sinatra? I like you guys both. Calm down.
Really?
Because I was making fun at the beginning of the show. I was like, so you guys got Sinatra to substitute me, huh? And apparently he took it as I was being serious. And I'm flattered that you took me that seriously, that I sounded that legitimate. Rest assured, guys, 9 times out of 10, quite literally 9 times out of 10, I'm just playing it up for chuckles. That's all. I mean, occasionally, yeah, it gets on the nerves, like when Ghastly was here, just a little bit, just a bit. But, I have a far higher tolerance now than I did, say, 2 years ago when we started this thing. So trust me, you're probably hearing me just kind of rolling my eyes and being melodramatic. That's all.
And especially with somebody like Sinatra, I mean, there's certain friends of this show that we've all kind of come up together.
Mm-hmm.
And Sinatra, all of us, we go way back.
I think
James. James Colley.
Never mind. Fuck it.
Okay, Scribe is a drama hoe. Got it. LOL.
Yeah. No. Well, at least for the sake of this thing. Now, I think the very first guest video I ever did was for Sinatra's channel, like way back in the day when I was first starting out. So, no, I just in case anybody else was curious, I got no beef with Sinatra. Never have. I was just joking because that was just joking. So, there you go. Anyway, yeah, no direct evidence except for DNA showing paternity, and sure, he has his right to his own DNA expert. That's perfectly fine. I don't know if he should have bail, though. I don't know.
No
criminal record
evidence. You can challenge that evidence with your own expert, but that is direct evidence.
Yeah.
There's a woman who for 2 decades could not consent to sex. Your client's DNA somehow got up into her hoo-ha and made a baby.
Yeah.
That ain't no damn coinky dink.
So, anyway.
Guys, that's going to wrap up MSS News. Thank you so much for the submissions. You give us so many, we can't get to them all, and that is a wonderful problem to have, and that's because you are wonderful people to have. With that, we're going to move on to YouTube time. And Satsu, what'd you do?
I did a video today on the new event quest because the 1-year celebration event is going on for Monster Hunter. The game has been out for, I believe, a year now, and they're doing a little celebration event. And one of the monsters, like the very first ones you fight and see in the game, they like beefed up and made super big and made this kind of event quest for it, and it's fun. I had a good time playing it. You get a lot of really good rewards for it, and Capcom is doing a good job kind of revitalizing the game and getting people to come back. So I did a video on that, and I was going to do a video on something else today, but I had forgotten what it was because today was Squishy's day off, and I was just like, I need to get this video done so I can get it out of the way. And then I was just like, I'm gonna let her chill and do her thing. So I did that. If you want to go see that, or if you're interested, or if you want to do that quest, hit me up and let me know, because it's going to be going for like the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to be fucking spamming the shit out of this quest as much as I can. So jump on it if you got Monster Hunter on PC.
Alrighty. I did my monkey in the morning. I was actually going to make a video, and YouTube's screwing up again, you guys. Videos that were being put out yesterday weren't showing up on people's pages, so I put that on hold, and then I woke up today with the ear and I was like, fuck it. So maybe tomorrow, but I'll tell you what I'm doing it on. There was a story. Crippled people's rights is the last frontier in Hollywood.
Oh, is this the quadriplegic thing with Bryan Cranston again?
Yeah, it starts out with this. The article starts out with this chick who's a paraplegic who went on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and they asked her when she showed up if she wanted to use her chair or theirs, and she said, "Have you ever had anybody with a wheelchair before?" And they went, "No."
I'll use first.
I'll use my own. And then she got a letter from somebody whose kid watched her on the show, and the kid was a paraplegic as well, and they got so happy about seeing a girl in a wheelchair on TV that they let him skip school the next day to watch the follow-up. I'm like, the fuck? What does this have to do with jack shit? Kingslayer Damocles, thank you so much. And then Satsaw witnessed how bad I was at Monster Hunter World.
Oh yeah, yeah. Kingslayer accompanied me today when I was doing the missions, and he's usually pretty good. Like I'm gonna give him some credit. Like whenever I play with him, but today, man, holy fuck, dude, you need to get your shit together. He was getting his ass kicked today.
Damn it, Kingslayer. So yeah, I want to do a video on that as the resident cripple around here. There's also I don't know if I'm going to do a story on it or a video on it, but we're going to talk about this in a little bit. Yeah, I'll just leave that at that. Scribbles, what have you worked on lately?
Well, let's see. Before this stream, I was over on Cynical Lindsay and Jenna P's show. What is it? Oh my God. I have suddenly blanked in my mind. Operation Domination. That's the name of their show.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with BDSM, strangely enough. And went on there and we talked about all types of things. We talked about serial killers and comic books and Punisher Netflix show and cults and food. And apparently somebody over there hates Miracle Whip.
That's just wrong.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, Monkey loves Miracle Whip, so you guys are going to have beef. And all types of stuff. So just a nice little chit chat show, talking about stuff. It's over on Cynical Lindsay's channel. And Cynical Lindsay now has a Lord name, since Jenna P had one. So Cynical Lindsay is the Lord of Pessimism.
Hey, that's my name.
That's not your name.
Should be.
Oh, you already got a name, Lord of Puppies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Elsewise from that, I have scripted and recorded audio for my next video, which is a strange creature, which is a under 10-minute TEDx talk, where we have a comedian telling us what is appropriate to be made fun of. Don't you love those?
Oh, fuck off.
I also love the part where she talks about how she groups in Louis C.K. with Bill Cosby as assaulters and rapists. There's several things in there that she gets patently wrong as she tries to tell us what is morally correct to make fun of and what isn't. But anyway, I got most of all the pieces I need to put that together. I have collected, and granted that my work responsibilities tomorrow don't completely overtake me, I hope to start assembling it tomorrow. Might not have it out until early next week, though, because part of my day tomorrow will be occupied with work stuff. So that's what I've been working on.
We're going to get into fucketry time here in just a second, but I have to read this. You guys know Nick, Wizard of Cause?
Yes.
He just tweeted this out. I'm at the bar having a drink. A man is playing, people are dancing, then I see it. A larger girl is cutting it up on the dance floor, and she has a bottle of Hidden Valley Ranch dressing in her back pocket.
Okay.
It just made me laugh. You know what? That's for a ranch emergency. Everybody should carry a Hidden Valley Ranch with them anywhere they go.
And well, it's like people having Tabasco in their purse or something.
I don't know why that made me laugh so much. Wow. Anyhow, so I forgot to mention I was on Bloodwing's show today, but I was on there I had just come back from the doctor and my ear was fucking killing me, so I didn't stay very long. But don't forget to check out Redneck Radio, which I believe he does Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Yeah, so it's fucketry time, guys. Got anything for us? Scribbles, did you see any fucketry?
Nothing I hadn't already kind of talked about today, so.
Satsu?
I don't fuck trees.
All right.
So I guess nothing is the answer then.
No, I didn't see much of anything today. Like I said, today was Squishy's day off, so when she's here, I try not to infuriate myself with stupidity. I just like, all right, I'm gonna relax. So.
All right. This is actually from just as we were ending the show last night. I saw Nancy Pelosi had tweeted this out yesterday. Roger Stone's indictment makes clear there was a deliberate, coordinated effort by top Trump campaign officials to subvert the will of the American people during the 2016 election. Look, if they actually stole information from the DNC, that is absolutely a crime.
Yes.
But sharing that information is in no way subverting the will of the people.
Yes.
All that's doing is showing what the DNC was doing. And for the record, they were up to some kind of shady shit. I mean, it's how we found out about the whole Donna Brazil thing.
Yeah.
And they keep, I mean, I just loved how subverting the will of the American people. It's not like they were changing votes. Am I wrong here?
That's just somebody cheating in a
yeah.
And because you cheated and somebody snitched, you're like, well, you're manipulating the audience perception on what happened in the game. It's like, no, we just told them that you cheated because you did.
This is the same. We're having the same discussion when the focus was Russia leaking all this stuff or hacking and all this other stuff. It's like, well, yes, if Russia actually did do the hacking or whoever did the hacking itself is a crime. Once the information is out in the public domain, however, it's no different than a newspaper getting a scoop. And you cannot prove that simply the dissemination of that information changed any votes.
Right.
And thus manipulated the electorate. Because unless you can prove mind control, information getting out there. I mean, the Access Hollywood tape, by all mechanisms, the Access Hollywood tape is the exact same thing as the DNC. If the videotape itself had been stolen from the Access Hollywood vault and digitized and put out on the internet, the person who stole that tape would be guilty of the crime of theft.
Yes.
But once the information's out in the public domain, you can't say with any certainty that there was any quote unquote meddling in the election because people's minds are what their minds are. And you cannot prove a trail of influence that way. So it's bullshit is what they're saying.
Who was it up there? Faithless said, "Oh, our will was to be lied to." Exactly. I mean,
yeah, right.
Yeah, the information was stolen. We know that. But nobody's will was subverted, you stupid bitch. I was asked in chat, where was that? If I was going to talk about Andy and Ian Miles Chong. There it is, Grill and Pirate Pete. I saw a little bit of when he first found out about it. Somebody sent me that yesterday. Apparently Andy has figured out that Ian Miles Chong was feeding information to Vamp when he was supposed to be on Andy's team.
Oh, Jesus.
And sharing personal information about Andy's life with Vamp and that crew. Well, Andy's got to stop trusting people. I hate to say this, but right now he's cozying up to somebody who was with those guys for a long time and keeps going back over and over no matter what shit comes out. And he's telling him all kinds of his personal shit too. Andy, stop trusting people. Did he? I don't know what else to tell the poor guy. Andy I know he tries to play the tough swearing character, but he seems like a genuinely nice guy who's just keeps getting caught up with really stupid people and getting into these fights that he probably shouldn't get into because he's not the dirty one that they all are. So that is go ahead.
Andy needs to become more suspicious is what you're saying.
Yes, if he's going to keep playing in this game, yeah. If you're going to play in a blood sports arena, why the fuck would you trust anyone? These are people who constantly just fucking turn on each other.
That's their bread and butter. That's their main.
It is
export. Let's say that's their product is drama and betrayal.
Nut says, I watched part of his video. He was claiming Ian stole a channel from him. I was watching part of that. I know Andy said he was selling the channel to him. What's that new one they have? I forget the name of it. It's a gaming channel that Ian and him were doing, but Andy actually owns it, and I don't know. I wasn't following all of it because at this point, Andy, just stop trusting people. Cryptic asks if I bought my new boom arm. I did. It's scheduled to be here between the 28th and the 30th. So in the next couple of days, it should be here. And thank God, because that one is about a foot longer than this one, and I'll actually be able to put the mic right in front of my damn face.
Hey.
Right now, it's off to my right, and it's a pain in the ass. Because it's not. I don't know why Google Hangouts picks up audio so much better than any audio program I have. And I'm not just talking Audible. I have or Audacity. I have Audible from Adobe. It is a high quality product, but it picks up my voice the same as Audible or Audacity does. I wish I could get it to record as well as it does on Hangouts, but and I've tried just doing it that way, recording it through Hangouts and then cutting it up, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Anyhow, what other fucketry did I see? Yeah, the thing is, we've gone through most of them as just part of the. Oh, here's a tweet. You ever see a tweet that's like half right and just half really, really wrong?
You mean Chris Saliza?
Kind of. James Colley, thank you. Forgive me, but fuck Mediker's new vid. Never forget Pebbles. Pebbles! I watched Mediker's video, and I mean, it's an interesting topic, but yeah, Pebbles, man. Pebbles, you were too good for this world.
Forever. Pebbles
forever. Forever Pebbles. This is from Benny Johnson. I don't know who the guy is. What does he do?
Mihana? What?
Love my family, God, and pipe tobacco, not necessarily in that order. I make internet at thedailycaller.com. There you go. This is what he tweeted out. Dear GOP, negotiating in good faith with a party that thinks you are literally Hitler for a wall they believe is immoral and racist will not work out. I agree with him on that. I think he's spot on right there. I mean, it is a, and that's why you have to turn it back on them, Mr. President. But here's what he goes on to say. Here's a bright idea. Why didn't you build it between January 2017 and January 2019 where libs were powerless to stop you?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't powerless to stop them. They absolutely weren't. There was a bill passed by the House in the latter days of 2018, coming right up to New Year's Day, that funded the wall. And it wasn't even put through the Senate because you need 60 votes to pass it. And they didn't have 60 votes in the Senate. Now, Trump could have tried to have his fight then, but then it would have been said, look, the Republican Senate won't pass this, is what it would have been put out as. I still think he should have done it because at least then it would have been honest. You know, he was trying it all along. But they weren't powerless to stop him. Learn how the fucking government works before you say stupid shit to how many followers do you have, Dickel? Let's see. 122,000 followers you're sitting there lying to.
You know what really ticks me off, though, is this: there must always be a supermajority. There used to be a time where it's like you just needed a majority. Now it has to be 60 because there's a presumed filibuster on everything. It's just, and even though a filibuster doesn't actually happen, it's just presumed that it'll happen, and so you just get a 60 to make sure there's no argument or anything. So I never really understood, nor do I appreciate the fact that now everything requires a supermajority.
Well, you just need the supermajority to override a presidential veto. You need it to, like you said in this, you don't have to negotiate because they only need 60 votes, and this has been a thing for quite a while on funding votes. So it's really not that new, but it just used to be people be, all right, you give us something, we'll give you something, we'll raise spending all together, and everybody wins. And now it's just it's these lines in the sand. There is no way Democrats are going to let Trump have his wall. Mm-hmm. That is a loss they cannot suffer going into 2020. Yeah. We have another birthday. Who is that? Dorvin Musket? I'm missing it.
Musket.
Well, somebody said happy birthday, Dwarven Musket. Why am I not seeing that person in chat?
They're talking about like the anniversary of when a Dwarven musket was invented.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But it looked more like a name.
Like Happy Birthday Jiffy Pop or something.
You just compared our viewer to Jiffy Pop?
Well, a product.
There it is.
I don't know.
I really need the Lords of the Night to make this a happy birthday for me. Thank you. Dwarven Musket, you are in luck because what we do around here is make birthdays happy.
You call that luck? With
We will give you
okay.
a happy ending.
God.
Pardon me? Wait, hold on.
That's Satsu's department, not mine.
Just let it happen.
What's about to happen here?
What is that?
I don't remember.
I'm saying the name wrong.
This is not what we promised by Master Stroke.
Yeah.
Draven Musket.
Draven?
You just want to hear me trip over it, don't you? That's why.
That's why.
Draven Musket, Dwarven Musket. You know what? I'm sorry. That's the way things work around here. If I change your name, that's your new name.
That's
so
true.
what? Draven, you are now Dwarven, and this one's. I feel bad doing that on your birthday, but
Someone change your name on your birthday.
And a 2. Happy birthday to you.
Look at that. You got a new name on your birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
That's what you get for opening your mouth.
Happy birthday, dear Dwarven Musket.
You're a rat.
I hope you learned your lesson.
Happy birthday to you.
Dwarven Muskrat.
Happy birthday, Dwarven, however it's supposed to be. I'm sorry, dude. You're going to be Dwarven to me forever now.
Dwarven Muskrat.
I hope you had a wonderful birthday. And if that topped it off, well, then you're a lucky man.
Somehow.
Indeed. So we had no more fucketry, right?
Not that I know of.
Good. I read a story today that really annoyed the shit out of me. And this is the one I'm thinking about doing a video on because I just the press is like on my last goddamn nerves.
Oh, really?
Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember last weekend?
I don't remember last night, bruh.
Last weekend was nothing but Covington from sea to shining sea.
Oh,
that is true. Yes, indeed.
And we had these kids being doxxed. We had people threatening to kill them. We had people saying they should be shot. We had Kathy Griffin demanding their fucking yearbook or whoever it was that did that. You know, just tons of people. We got to get these kids. How dare anybody treat these kids like humans? Well, as the week progressed, a couple of news outlets cut down their workforce.
That's right.
Specifically, BuzzFeed and Huffington Post.
Yes.
4chan trolls flood laid-off HuffPost BuzzFeed reporters with death threats.
Jesus.
This is from NBC News.
Uh-huh.
For the record, I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I do not remember an NBC News story about the Covington kids getting flooded with death threats. I might have missed it, but I'm just saying it wasn't as prominent as this piece of shit was.
No, they just mentioned that it was alleged that could be happening to them. But it was like a matter-of-fact thing. It was like he stood there and smiled like the fucking horrible, disgusting monster he is, and then he might be getting that. But that's irrelevant.
Now I'm gonna ask you guys to take a guess. What is missing in this story about reporters getting death threats?
Okay.
Probably the threats.
Ding, ding, ding! It's like you've read the news before.
I was going to say the source, but or a named source.
Shortly after he tweeted the news of his layoff, Nick Wing checked his inbox at Huffington Post and saw an email with a few pictures from a troll. One was an image of President Trump, and another a Photoshop meme to Fox News' Tucker Carlson. The edited image shows two bodies hanging from a tree next to the words "Day of the Rope," a far-right meme about the desire to execute journalists.
What?
What?
That's news to me. I've never heard. Is that actually a thing? I have no
I
idea.
never heard that before.
And I just want to make a real quick joke. So what you're saying is that Huffington Post clipped their wings.
Yes.
How funny.
Underneath Carlson, where the scroll cable news ticker would usually appear, it reads, "Just kill them, make America great again." That's as close as we actually get to a death threat.
Okay.
Is a meme. But this goes through this, and the whole thing is just about how horrible these journalists are being treated because people are making fun of them because they lost their jobs, and even though that a lot of these people didn't cover the White House, specifically the White House for some reason, not politics, but even though they didn't cover the White House, Trump still goes after the whole press, and it's hurt them now. Like, look, nobody's not reading your article about whatever stupid feminist shit you write because Trump said the press sucks. They're not reading it because your fucking article sucks. I read an article from one of these losers who lost their job, and I'm using loser in the technical definition. They lost their job, so they are losers.
Yeah.
She listed a whole bunch of stories she's really proud of it from her time at Huffington Post, and she's one of the ones who complained, "I'm not even a White House reporter." One of them was about how women or the impact of the opioid crisis as it relates to women is being ignored. Thank you, Mr. Dax. Fun fact: the learn to code was something these journos were telling blue collar workers who were losing their jobs. Oh yeah. That's a one of the things that is supposedly a death threat against them is learn to code.
What?
Yeah, because people keep telling them learn to code because that's what. Yeah, Mr. Dax is absolutely right about the source of that. But anyway, this woman, she writes a story about how the opioid is affecting women, and here's what she says: the number of overdoses for men went up like 400. I want to say 439%. It was something 400%, right?
Okay.
But for women, it went up 500%.
Oh.
Well, when you have a much smaller number, it's easier to go up a higher number of percentage. If you know math, I mean, this is pretty simple. 50% of 100 is 50. 50% of 1,000 is 500. So when you already have a lot more, because men are overwhelmingly the ones being affected by the opioid crisis. But she has to have her little feminist moment.
But there was a reason she used percentage instead of actual numbers.
Indeed.
Yeah. You know, reminds me of that old article or fake headline that says, "Asteroid headed for Earth, women most affected."
Yes, exactly. And that's what I mean. I read through all of her shit that she did because like one of them was she brought gun control manufacturers to account in the gun epidemic.
Oh,
like, yeah, you're not a far lefty at all. Look, you stupid twat. You lost your job because nobody cares. Nobody cares what you're writing about. If they did, she actually, when you go to them, you can see, like how many times these things have been like retweeted or sent out on Facebook and all that. Her total engagement for this from a BuzzFeed article about anti-gun stuff was only 1.2 thousand. 1,200.
Oh,
that's horrible from a BuzzFeed article. You just sucked at your job, sweetie. Go on and find something else. Learn to code.
Well, you either sucked at your job or you worked for a company that just sucks at marketing their product. I mean, these guys are basically just tabloid rags now, the way they operate, and the market is saturated with this stuff. So, I mean, I think you were set up for failure working for who you worked for. Go out and be an independent pajama journalist. You'll probably get more success.
Where was this? The death threat using Carlson's Photoshop meme that was sent to Wing, for example, remains prevalent on troll sites like 4chan and on pages hosted by social media giants like Twitter and YouTube. The image was created by an account that frequently posts images about killing journalists on Gab, a social network that attracts mostly far-right users.
Oh, Jesus.
One YouTube video using the image as a thumbnail has over 17,000 views.
Wow, that's like 17,000 more views than that lady's article.
Right.
Yikes.
I just, reading this and about how horrible these poor journalists are being treated, the weekend after what these people did, and not necessarily these people in general, but the press did to those Covington kids, are you fucking kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to feel sorry for these journalists who are getting a lot of shit, and a lot of them deserve it. Sorry, you do. You're fucking douchebags who push an agenda. Did you guys happen to see Riley Dennis's video on the Gillette thing?
No.
I slogged through that because I was thinking about responding to it, and then at the end I'm like, no. But at the end of it, Riley says something that just made me And Riley said this before. He said there's a problem in the media these days where the media pretends that they're going to give both sides of the story. But sometimes if you're talking like flat earthers, there's not really a reason to give the other side of the story. Like, no, Riley, there's the problem you have right there. The problem that you are missing is that the news is not supposed to be there to present sides.
Yeah.
They're supposed to present the facts as we know them. That's it. If you're talking about anything else, you're talking about punditry or what's another word for punditry? Commentary.
Mm-hmm.
News is supposed to be who, what, when, where, why, how. That's it. And too many of you, including these fucking journalists, a lot of these journalists who are losing their jobs, saw it as a way to push their ideology. And that's why you have to go away.
I will give at least this portion of fairness to some of these journalists. They were fooled into thinking that their ideology constitutes journalism.
I'll give you that.
Because, let's be honest, the way the market has gone, what has gotten the most clicks and everything else isn't flat, dry, just the facts, ma'am. It's got to have attitude. It's got to have a perspective. It's got to have a personality behind it. Fox News promulgated this quite successfully in the 90s and still does to a certain degree. And, MSNBC and all these other places have glommed onto that philosophy. So I can't necessarily completely blame some of these young, quote unquote, journalists coming out of the colleges that put fields over reels and telling them that equates to a career. And then they get sidelined because they're just one more of the pack telling people what they should think, instead of just telling people what they should know.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of it is that and how much of it is, this is how I can push my... Because I see so many of these kids who they want to go into journalism to do that specifically. If you watch kids, I want to go into journalism to change the world.
Sure.
Well, how do you mean? Do you mean by exposing something that's horrible? Or do you mean by pushing your fucking agenda with stories that are only half true?
Well, if you're an idealist, and I'm not talking about an ideologue, but if you're an idealist, like I want to go into the world and make change, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into one of these colleges and they groom you into believing that making change means being a good ally, being an activist, pushing this agenda, trying to change minds at all costs, etc. I don't see how you escape that trap. That doesn't relinquish them from the responsibility for what they ultimately publish or put out there or anything. But I'm not sure that they have much of a chance to avoid this kind of stuff, given how journalism and colleges are operating these days. So I'm not trying to say that they are, helpless victims per se, but there comes a point at which maybe they didn't have an opportunity otherwise if the only thing they know is the nonsense they're being told and have access to,
Yeah, they're willfully walking into the trap. And some people could argue like, oh, they're being targeted, but it's just like most people who grew up in this world, with parents who taught them that the world don't work the way it's good to have ideals, but you still need to be grounded in reality. they grow up and they get out into the world and they realize the realities. Like, this is what I have to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I can do, and this is what I have to do to make those things happen. But these kids are being like, you can do anything. You just got to believe, and morals, being morally right is more important than facts and all that shit. So
yeah, exactly. And so, they're so insulated from failure that anything that happens to them of a negative nature must be an attack.
Mm-hmm.
It must be something where they're the righteous victim and everybody else is wrong, because how could I be wrong? Because I've been told since I was born into college and everything else that my way of thinking is correct. I have a feeling, and we've talked about this before, where the impressionable and righteous individuals that exist in our world today, especially in our westernized countries, they will go the way of the hippies, as the hippies went as they got older. They'll become more conservative. They will kind of wake up to maybe the realities of the world when they actually have to face it, and maybe realize the error of their ways. Maybe.
Again, the most egregious part of this is reading how horribly they're being treated in the wake of what the press just fucking did.
Yes.
Now, if this didn't come from NBC, if this was actually written by, say, BuzzFeed or something, okay, maybe this is NBC doing it, and you fucks were just as guilty as anyone else of fucking just ripping those kids and acting as though they did something horrible. So go fuck y'all.
Yeah.
So that brings us to question time. Questions, comments, concerns, conspiracy theories, criticisms, cake, anything you want to throw at us, now's the time to do it. Put it in the chat. If it's a question, make sure there's chat marks so we know it's a question. But we will try to address other things as well. We will do our best. Dave says, I lost my job. Where the fuck is my participation trophy? Write to NBC and let them know about how horrible it was for you. I'm sure they will be sympathetic.
Your participation trophy is your unemployment check from the government.
Toasted said, I tweeted to Andy and asked if Tonka has AIDS. He said yes. Should I believe him? Sure.
Oh, wow.
When is Monkey's faux intervention? I'm not sure what that's in regard to.
Oh, are we supposed to have an intervention?
I guess so.
Oh, what are you addicted to?
I'm not sure.
Are you addicted to pain medication?
I'm not addicted to pain medication. No, the only pain medication I take is Motrin.
I don't know. Do they have Motrin rehab clinics?
I don't know.
We should find that out. We should find out if they have Motrin rehab. I'd be curious to know if that even exists.
Speaking of cake, what is your favorite cake? German chocolate. Fellas?
Ice cream cake. How do you like that?
With a spoon.
With a spoon. I like ice cream cake.
All right. That was easy enough. Did you see James Woods responded to a tweet of Alyssa Milano's directed at him?
Yeah, oh, dude, that response
was funny.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, Monkey would appreciate it.
I'll look it up. I didn't see it. Yeah, I wasn't on the Twitter machine very much today. I spent a lot of time in bed rewatching old episodes of Castle. I'm not watching The Shield until I can actually concentrate on it, dude.
That's fine. That's fine, dude. That's fine. I'm not holding you to account for it. Whenever you can.
No, cool. I want to watch it, but I don't want to watch it where I only catch part of it. Wake up for a little bit, catch another part. Yeah. No, I want to be where I can actually pay attention. So threw in an old season of Castle because I still love Castle. Why is Kamala Harris doing all of this black pop culture shit? I don't know.
Maybe to invigorate the electorate or something.
Because right now she is the black candidate in the race, so.
Or maybe it's like one of those "hello, fellow kids" kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, Obama did it with very good success. Why not?
Yeah.
Did you see the lead reporter on the Stone arrest was an FBI agent before he worked for CNN?
Oh, is that true?
I didn't.
If that's true, that's interesting. He wouldn't have had some contacts in the agency that might have given him a tip, huh?
No, he just guessed and happened to be there.
Yeah, it was good. It was, according to Chris Liz, it was just good journalism and talent that did that.
If you want, there's some really weird things that happened in that interview, I guess, because the CNN chick cuts over to him and she's like, so you were there this morning and you caught it all? And he's like, yeah. And he says, we were waiting there at 5, nothing happened. Then at 6, nothing happened. And then boom, there they were. And it's that waiting there part.
Yeah. How'd you know to wait there at that day at that time?
And then later on, she actually asks him, like, how did you know to do this?
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird question to ask. Like they knew that was going to be a criticism.
What was his answer to that?
That's where they started trotting out we heard that on Thursday they had a grand jury, and the last time that happened, there was an indictment the next day. It's like, okay, well then how did you know to go to Roger Stone's house?
Yeah.
Oh, well, because they've been talking to Corsi. Like, yeah, but all the stuff about that, I mean, that came out in the grand jury indictment that we saw Friday.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, it's still interesting. Where were we? Outer, middle, or inner ear infection. Just got over a middle one in October, November. It took about a month and a half to go away. The doctor didn't tell me. All he told me was that the eardrum hadn't exploded yet. I don't know. He also told me I have very thin ear canals.
Oh, well,
and
are they cute?
I think they are. And I had to tell him they go up into my head. Most people's ear canals go down. Mine actually go up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I have a birth defect, guys.
Up to where?
It's just the way my ear canal is shaped. It goes up into my head instead of going down into my head. Something in there just shaped different. And it's really nice because I can swim underwater without water getting into my ear because it does that little cup thing where you hold the cup upside down.
You jerk.
I have to flip upside down in water for water to get in my ear. Black Romeo says, don't lie, Stacey Dash is your pain medication and you're definitely addicted to that. Oh man, she's hot. Slovenly American says, dear Lords of the Night, imagine you were on death row and about to be executed. What is your last meal? Oh man. Oh.
For a second there, I thought you were going to do a Rod Serling thing. It's like, dear Lords of the Night, submitted for your consideration. If you're on death row, yeah.
Let's see. My last meal. Oh God. I'm gonna need some ramen noodles. I'm gonna need some pizza with ranch, Hidden Valley only. What else do I need? I need a nice salad with tomatoes, preferably grape tomatoes. What else? I need a Snickers, at least 4. I'm gonna eat until my stomach pops so they can't kill me.
Huh.
Gentlemen, what would your last meal be? Oh, I need some ribs too.
Last meal, huh? I've actually thought about this a couple times, and it's never the same answer. It's always something different. It probably a big dumbass seafood buffet. Just like everything. Bring me all the seafoods. I want to try it all before I die.
I would probably want to request a specific dish that my mother made when I was young. It's called, chicken or turkey, depending on what meat you got. Chicken or turkey divan. It's so what you do is you put a layer of broccoli. You got a big baking pan. And you put a layer of broccoli and a layer of chicken and a layer of this cream of mushroom mayonnaise white sauce on top of that. And you put cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese all over that. And you bake that for half an hour. And then you serve it over white rice. It is it's the best comfort food in my life. I love it. And if I had to go, that'd be one. I'd take that as my last meal.
John Wick versus Punisher. Who wins? The Punisher. Come on.
Punisher. The real Punisher, not the Netflix Punisher. The real Punisher. Even though John Wick acts like the Punisher should, for the most part, in a lot of situations.
Pirates. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That was it.
Oh, Pirates asks, how's Pumpkin? Oh, she's She's had an upset belly the last 2 nights, but it was so cute.
Oh.
I was up there with her last night, and I was holding her, and she did like this hiccup thing where it wasn't quite a hiccup, it wasn't quite a burp, but it really upset her while I was holding her. And she just starts screaming. And I try to calm her down, and I just can't get her calmed down. And her mama comes over and calms her down. And she's sitting on her mom's, laying on her mom's chest. And we were all standing up. So she's laid on her mom's chest, but they're both standing. And she looks over at me as I was getting ready to go downstairs. And I walked over to her. I was like, "It's okay, baby." And I gave her a little kiss. And I walked away a little bit, and she just kept staring.
Oh.
It's like, "No, I understand that you weren't mad at me. It's okay."
Oh.
But yeah, every time I go upstairs, I go over and I talk to her, and she gives me just the biggest old smile. I've taken to calling it Grandpa. Did I tell you guys she said Grandpa?
No.
She did. And everybody heard it. She had her pacifier in her mouth, and she said Grandpa. And this was like a week ago. So
What?
yes. And I think it's because I've been chanting it at her ever since she was born.
Oh.
Been trying to get her to say it. So yeah, everybody heard it. That child said Grandpa.
She's a genius.
She is.
Genius.
At least she's smart enough to know who to suck up to.
There you go. That works.
Peter asks, have you guys ever watched Hot Ones?
Oh yeah, I watched the one with Gordon Ramsay. They finally got him on that damn show after all this time, and it was worth it. Gordon Ramsay is fucking hilarious, man.
He is.
I watched. Sorry.
I watched part of that one. Lady Monkey watched it all, but I only saw bits and pieces of it. Yeah, he's funny as hell.
I only saw the first like 5 minutes before work stuff took me away, so I'll probably try to watch it sooner or later.
I think I could listen to Gordon Ramsay just sit and talk for hours.
Well, you should. I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but the British version of Kitchen Nightmares before it became the stupid Fox thing, where he narrates the entire thing, and it's not done like a reality show per se. Just listening to him critique these restaurants himself instead of having this, jazzy narrator do it was a far more interesting little mini documentary series than the American version. So if you can find the British version of Kitchen Nightmares, watch that. They're all very interesting.
Toasted asked if I got the Barbie Dream House yet. No, we haven't ordered it yet. Mostly just because I don't want to have it sitting around in case she comes over and sees it. Matta says, I baked cherry chocolate chunk brownies. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I had to sneeze. Do you want some, Monkey? I'm not a big fan of cherry and chocolate together, but I would try them. Just because I like sweets that much.
Same. I'm not a huge cherry fan unless it's like certain candies, like Jolly Ranchers. I'll have those, but like actual cherries in real life, don't hate them. Not a big fan.
Are there any journalist outlets you actually trust? No, I don't trust anything I read.
There are some movie reviewers. I don't know if you want to call them news or anything, or journalists that I think give things a fair shake. There are a couple of journalists that I respect just because of like the efforts they've gone to and some of the risks they put themselves through in like war zones and things. But these days, especially, I take everything I read from every outlet with a gigantic grain of salt. If the Covington thing didn't give everyone a clue to do that at this point, I don't know what else you would need, honestly.
Anything I read, I mean, I will take it for what it says, but if there's anything I can independently verify, I will go do that. And I look for other sources. We had the thing just yesterday where people were asking us about California banning he and she.
Right.
And I have no doubt that there's somebody out there that's actually said that California's banned he and she. And it took the very first search I did looking for that told me what actually happened. And even if you're going to trust them, take Reagan's trust but verify approach, I would say. Old Grouchy Gamer says he was an agent for 12 years and Comey's assistant. Are we talking about the CNN guy again? Is that for real?
Yeah, see, now that's the skepticism you always have to have these days. It's just like,
exactly.
yeah, well, no, it was exactly it. It's like somebody says something. I mean, you've heard me do it reading stories sometimes that people send us in MSS News. I'll read a headline and I'll stop and say, that doesn't sound like that's a real thing that happened. And it turns out to be something like, a satire site or something else. And maybe somebody sent it to us thinking that it was real. I got so paranoid about broad claims about things from Facebook when somebody would say, they post something like Betty White dead. And I'd be like, oh my God. And I retweet that. And then they'd be like, no, that's a hoax. Oh, shit. And I never deleted it. I just said, whoops, I made a mistake, because I was like, I always try to own up to my mistakes when I got fooled like that. So that's kind of where I've become much more paranoid, and especially the news stories the last several years where people just like, this is big news, guys. Like, it's bullshit. Oh,
well, we just saw it in that Ocasio-Cortez thing.
yes.
She was asked how many fucks she gives. She said 0, and Ocasio-Cortez says she gives 0 fucks. Well,
Yes.
she did, but she didn't say that. Thank you, Diesel Dave. He killed 3 guys in a bar with a fucking pencil. Who does that?
John Wick.
John Wick, but the real Punisher would have just shot his ass.
Well, Punisher wouldn't need a pencil. He just used his fists and punched the guys. There are comic books where he has like knocked a guy to death with his bare hands, just like punching him in the right spot in the jaw, or clapping his hands on the guy's eardrums and popping his eardrums and making the guy squeal for pain. It's great.
Diesel Dave also said, thank you, Diesel Dave. John Wick would kick his ass. I don't think so. Besides, the Punisher would never kill his dog, so John Wick would have no reason to be mad at him.
Right. Now, I will say that at least as far as choreography goes and everything, the kind of gun kata that John Wick does is a bit beyond the Punisher's military tactics. But you see, if it was Punisher versus John Wick, the Punisher would have researched this guy and have an idea about how to trap him first. And he'd use things other than just guns to take him down. We're talking like actual what these characters would do.
Chadwick says, speaking of an ear infection, will an ear infection make you feel like you had a stroke? Half my face has been numb for 4 days. I can't answer that. That's a question for your medical professional.
Yeah, it might be a pinched nerve or something, but if you actually had a stroke, other things would be happening to you in less than 4 days.
Several people also have upside down ears. Yep.
Oh, well, fine. A bunch of mutants.
I never got it as when I was a kid, when people would talk about water in their ear after swimming. Like, why? And it wasn't until I was 20 I found out about my ears. No doctor had ever mentioned it to me. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. It's like cool. I'm going to go swimming. If you were forced to have sex with a man, would you want him to have a big dick or a small dick? Toasted, what are you drinking? I wouldn't care, because I'd be the top, because I ain't going that way. Nobody touches the monkey butt. Would you have cereal or soup for your last meal? Yeah, I would have Pebbles. Words of the night. Submitted for your consideration. Image, you were on death row. What crime did you commit to land there? Oh, I murdered a motherfucker. Because that's how you get there. I mean,
I used a fork on someone who interrupted me.
There you go.
Yeah.
A fork?
Yeah, whatever was at hand at the time. Usually a fork.
I pressed the red button.
There you go.
There you go. The shiny candy-like button.
Meow mix or fancy feast for you to eat? I'm not old and poor.
What you mean?
What the hell?
What you mean? Fancy feast, hands down, motherfucker.
I'm fancy.
The hell?
Well, that depends. Am I buying it myself? Because you can buy more meow mix.
I want chicken. I want liver. Meow mix, please deliver.
Do you guys like the show Hot Ones? I've only seen the one Gordon Ramsay episode. Somebody asked us if we thought we could make it all the way through. I probably could. I wouldn't like myself very much, but
I like Hot Ones.
I mean, I've tried ghost pepper. It's tastes disgusting, but the heat didn't really bother me that much.
One of my favorite moments in that episode was when dude was like, this is what this dude said about your restaurant. And he was like, fuck him. And that was it. Just fuck him. So what? Who gives a shit? And I was like, that's the perfect response.
Let's see. Have you heard of Sweethearts? If so, do you like them? Are you talking about the little candies? I fucking love those things.
Hearts? Or the Valentine's Day ones?
No, Sweethearts. Aren't those are the ones that are in the long roll twisted?
No, those are sweet tarts.
Huh?
Those are sweet tarts, not sweethearts.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, sweet tarts are the ones in the roll. Sweethearts are like the little Valentine's Day candies with little words on them, I think.
That's what I thought.
Oh, if we're talking about those, no, I don't like those at all.
They taste like chalk.
Yeah. Yeah, I got them backwards. So yeah, I don't like those. They need to add flavor. You know what? I wish they would do with those. I wish they would do what they did to jelly beans. Because when I was little, all jelly beans tasted the fucking same.
No, I like the Starburst jelly beans. Those are fucking delicious.
Yes. As I was saying, sometime in my lifetime, they started actually making flavored ones. And I know Jelly Belly has done it for a long time, but that wasn't the popular thing at like Easter.
I think Harry Potter did that.
Oh yeah, maybe
Harry Potter's fault that at least not necessarily like the gross ones they have in the thing, but just like it became popular to have multiple flavors and all that stuff.
And they need to do that with the Sweethearts. Actually, add flavors to them. And then I would. RJ says, "Who eats pizza with ranch? People who like stuff.
I eat pizza with ranch.
Good as fuck." The other day, Lady Monkey brought me pizza for dinner, and I got so happy because I remembered in my little fridge over there, I have my bottle of ranch. I didn't put it on my pizza because I don't necessarily like it on the pizza. It's not bad on the pizza, but I really like it for eating the crust. What do we got here? Mash said she tagged me in something. I'm guessing it's that James Wood thing. I'll check it out. Wow, we just jumped again. Smarties or M&Ms? M&Ms, of course, with peanuts inside. Gentlemen.
M&Ms.
All right, what was the question?
Smarties or M&Ms?
M&Ms. Totally.
James Colley, thank you so much. Could be Bell's palsy. I'm guessing about the
yeah.
And Diesel Dave says, it's okay. You can be wrong. I'm supposing that's about John Wick. Thank you, James Colley. Scribe, monkey can't read. Remember, hands down, Jelly Belly is fucking awesome. Don't agree. Fight me. Jelly Belly's great, man. But it's more rare to find just the regular old crappy sugary jelly beans now than it is to find flavored ones. You got tons of flavors now. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Flavored candy canes. That's another one that they've started doing. That was an idea long overdue because not everybody wants to suck on mint all day.
My mom used to be mad as hell. I'm like, stop buying them and putting them on the tree because we're going to eat them. Put the nasty ones on the tree and hide the other ones because that's what's going to happen.
Cynical Lindsay says, you don't put it on your pizza, use it for dipping sauce. I'm assuming we're talking about ranch. You can put it on your pizza. It's really, really good on the cheap pizzas. The ones that you get that come wrap two of them together. Those struggle pizzas.
Struggle pizza.
Struggle pizza. Peter says cereal is soup. I agree, sir. Thank you for the donation.
Yeah. Monkey, you cheated it.
What? Did I miss something?
Nope.
Okay. Let's see what else. Is that why I never had problem with my ears swimming? Lesser Logic said. If your eardrums or your ear canals go up, that could be, yeah. It's an awesome deformity to have, man. Nobody can see it, and it works out really well for you. I'm a deformed cripple, y'all. Which do you like better, French toast or waffles? Dude, you've asked this question. I'm going to send him a waffle and have someone beat him to death with it. Toasted
right.
Network. Waffles.
Death by frozen waffles.
Oh my God. Pelted to death by Eggo.
Yeah, just got a gun that shoots frozen Eggos at people.
They come out spinning like a blade saw.
Oh, it looks like that weapon in the new Far Cry game.
Lego, my Eggo.
Bitches. And why in the hell would Punisher go after Wick? That's not his deal. Well, he did kill a whole bunch of people. I mean, and yeah, a lot of them were criminals, but you wouldn't know everyone he killed was a criminal unless you looked into the matter.
Besides which, John Wick is, and was for a long time, a organized crime hatchet man. So he wasn't necessarily killing bad people all the time in his early career. So
Toasted asks how I'm able to do streams and not videos. I've answered that, and if you ask me that again, I will mute you.
Wow. So oppressive, Monkey.
I know.
Stifling people's freedom of speech.
Did y'all ever play Castle Crashers?
I always heard about it, but I don't think I ever played it.
My ex-girlfriend's daughters were big fans of that game. I watched them play that. I never had a chance to play it, though.
Richard Art says, wait, if native means that you come from where you're born, then wouldn't all Americans born in America be Native American? Yes.
Yes.
That's what Native American means, so that you're born here.
Yep.
Which, by the way, means that most people we call Native Americans who were born on their Indian reservations aren't. Let that sink in for a second.
Oh, no.
They are natives of the Cherokee Nation or of the Sioux Nation or of the Chippewa Nation. I mean, that's where they're native of. Who remembers dip and strip pizza from Pizza Hut? Dude, that wasn't that long ago. Wasn't that like within the last decade?
I have no idea. I don't eat Pizza Hut. It's gross.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Data has made a stand.
What's Data's stand? Where's he at?
Eggos are not and will never be waffles.
They're waffles. Just let it happen. James Colley, thank you so much. Peter, cereal is soup. Fight me. That's right. Cereal is soup. That is absolutely true.
I hear that there's a sporting event where you can fight IRL now. So,
indeed.
Just show up. Just make sure to show
up. Does the Sioux Nation have more lawyers than other tribes? I'm not sure. Scribe, are you sure you don't have any secret children?
I am 100% positive I don't have any secret children.
What if they're a secret?
Yeah, no. I've kept in some relatable contact with just about every woman I've ever had sexual relations with, and none of them have had kids by me.
Quinn says, tell Satsu that he can thank me later for helping him get that red dot.
Anyway, they made me run back into the police station to go back and get an attachment for my gun. And I really did it because they're like, you're missing something. And I'm like, it's fine. And they're like, no, it's not. Go get it. So I had to go all the way the fuck back to the RPD to fucking get that damn red dot. And they're like, you did it. And I'm like, yay. Now I got to go all the way back to the other fucking place.
Grillin' Pirate Pete says, rib question, rub only, sauce only, or rub and sauce combo? I can, all three work for me. And
yeah, I don't have that. They're all fine. They all have a place on my plate.
The Orange Chicken asks, male midget or Lena Dunham? Naughty. I guess she's asking if we'd rather bang a male midget or Lena Dunham. I would go with Lena Dunham because she has a vagina.
That's right.
I mean, that's a default win.
I had no other option.
When it does not attract, hit it from the back.
Wow, I haven't heard that one before. Thank you, Johnny Cochran.
Yeah, that's basically the same as showing up, is having the vagina in that one. That's how you win. Then wouldn't that also mean Elizabeth Warren is a Native American? Then technically, yes, she is a Native American.
By that definition, but that's not what we're talking about. That's not what she was talking about either.
Exactly.
She's not technically Native American as she was before. You made that revelation. It's still a massive technicality.
Pirates asked if I told Grand Monkey why I call her that on stream. Yeah, she knows. That doesn't stop her from announcing her name these days.
You're going to visit again soon, you think?
I probably not till around her birthday, so not till Aprilish. And I don't know if we're going down there for her birthday or if they're coming up here. She really wants me to come see her room.
Yeah.
So I might put myself through that trip because that's a long trip for me. But with that, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up because by the time I'm done, it will be 11 o'clock, which is when we end this program. Chat, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you for the donations. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that and how much it helps. I didn't get my I bought out all of their ham and Swiss, so I had to go with ham and cheddar, but I do have my Lunchables again, and that's because of you guys. Thank you so much.
God, Lunchables.
Yeah, after this, go watch Satsu play Resident Evil 2 on 2 cents plus. How you 5-10 minutes, Satsu?
Yeah, it'll be relatively quick. I've already kind of set up the stream. I just got to get my shit together.
All right, so go see him over there. Scribe, Satsu, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Everybody, your lives make us sad. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.